Alright, so in this video you are going to learn how to make your own pattern. So I want you to use something that you've designed already. I brought up the Among Us character, so I went back and I opened up the AI version of my Among Us character. Then we're going to create something like this to create our pattern. So let's go to our Among Us character. With the selection tool, drag over your Among Us character. Make sure your Among Us character is selected. I'm going to do Control or Command C to copy the Among Us character. Now we're going to go to New, File New, and we're going to open a new document. Let's choose Print. I'm going to say Among Us pattern. Let's change the points to inches and let's go, we need a square, so we've been using 4 inches a lot, so we'll do 4 inches by 4 inches. Since it's a square, we don't have to do our orientation, and we are going to create. So now we have our 4-inch square. We're going to then do Command or Control V to paste in our Among Us character. So before I do anything else, I want to make sure I group all of these pieces together. So as we're moving him around, he's all grouped together. So, well, before I group it, I'm sorry. Let's go up to, first of all, we need to make sure we expand all the pieces. So if we have any strokes, we need to make sure they're expanded to a shape. So we're going to go to Object, Expand Appearance, and then go once more to Object, Expand, and fill and stroke, and then say OK. Now that we have him expanded, we're going to group all these pieces together. So that way when we move one, they're all going to move together. So he's really, really large. We don't need him that large for this pattern. So I'm going to bring him down a little bit. And then I'm just simply going to copy him. So Command or Control C, and then Command or Control V, and I'm going to do V quite a bit with Control held down. So now we've got a bunch of copies made. So to create a repeating pattern, what we need to do, we need to make sure that we have some of our Among Us characters going off on the top and then off on the side as well. At first, don't worry about the bottom or this side, because we will grab the ones that we have on the top and bottom and then move them around. So I'm just simply going to place these around, having some going off the edge, having them going off the edge here. So we're just moving our little guys around. Remember, I'm not worried about bringing any of them off the bottom or off of this side. So let's actually, I have quite a few big, and I'm holding down Shift when I resize so that I did quite a bit. Holding down Shift so that we do not, I'll give him his little friend. There we go. Do that, bring him over here. All right. I want to add a couple more of the small ones, so I'm Command or Control C, Command or Control V, did it twice, so I have 2 copies. I'm just trying to figure out where I want these guys. I actually think he's kind of cute on top of this one here, and we'll put him here for now. All right, so we didn't do any off the bottom here, and we didn't do any off the side, and I'm going to switch these 2 really quick. And you'll see why in a minute. All right. Okay, so I think we're in a good place for now. Now we're going to take the top Among Us characters, so with the selection tool, click and drag over the 3 of them. We're going to go to Object, Transform, and Move. This is a new tool you haven't used yet, so choose Move. We want to move it vertically down to the bottom. So we're going to say 0 on our horizontal And our artboard is 4 inches, so we want to move it 4 inches down. We don't want to say okay. If we do that, it's just going to move the 3 that we did already. But if we say copy, it will copy the 3 that we had on top and do them directly on the bottom. So here, we've got that really nice. I'm going to move these before I go anywhere else because I want to move him up a little bit. There we go. All right. Nice. Okay. So now we're going to move these 2 over here. So we're going to select both of them. Once again, go to Object, Transform, Move. We're going to now move them 4 inches horizontally and 0 inches vertically, and we're going to copy them. So we want to make sure that we're not moving it itself, because then we won't have these over here. So now he's going to be the other end of this that's hanging off. This one will be here. So I've got to rearrange these a little bit more before I am happy with it. So let's go. Let's move this little guy up here. We'll move him over, space that out a little bit. Move this. Maybe I'll even delete this guy, see what I think about that. Separate these out now. I think I'm liking that. Okay. So we've got the 3 up here that are hanging off, and we brought them over here. We have the 2 over here hanging off and the 2 over here hanging off, and they're exactly opposite of each other. So next what we're going to do, I'm going to zoom out a little bit, Command or Control minus to zoom out so you can see everything that's going on. Next, what I want to do is I want to do a bounding box to keep all of these inside the area for our pattern. So I'm going to go to my rectangle tool, and I'm going to create a rectangle, but I want to make sure over here on the properties panel that I have it 4 inches by 4 inches, so it's the exact size of my artboard. And then grab it and drag it onto the artboard, making sure it's right on there. And I'm going to say no stroke and no fill. So with the fill box selected on top, I'm going to say none. And I'm going to send it to back. So Object, Arrange, send it all the way to back. Now we're ready to get our pattern going. So in our Windows panel, we're going to go to our swatch window. If you do not see your swatches, you can always go to Window and Swatches and pull open your Swatches window. And we're simply going to, with our selection tool, we're simply going to select over all of them and drag it into our swatch panel. So you see we have a new little swatch here. So then I'm going to scroll over to the side so we can see what happens. Let's go ahead and select that swatch. So you can see our fill is now that swatch we just created. Go to my rectangle tool and drag in that repeating pattern. So when we open up another document, that pattern won't be there. So we need to make sure that we save it. So we're going to go to the little hamburger menu up on the top right hand corner of the window, and we're going to go down to the very bottom and say Save Swatch Library as AI. So choose this option. Now we're going to say where do we want that swatch menu to go. So we want to save swatches as library, and then we want to change what the name is. I'm going to go ahead and say custom, and you can name it however you want. I've already saved it, so it's going to ask me if I want to replace. I'm going to cancel for now, but you go ahead and save it. And what's going to happen next time you open a new document, so let's open a new document, and I'm not going to choose any settings right now. Notice in my swatch menu, there's no Among Us pattern. But if we go up to the top hamburger on the right and go down to Open Swatch Library, user defined, and there's our custom swatch library. Choose that. Now our Among Us pattern is in there, and we can use that for the next thing that we're doing. So I hope you guys enjoy making your patterns. I can't wait to see what you create. I hope you have a wonderful day.